Hey team, Caitlin Bell here. Thank you so much to everyone who participated in the leader development last Sunday. Ben and Melanie and I had a blast getting to see all of you in the same room, praying over our kids and learning from one another. And we really hope that you had a great time as well. I will be uploading the audio from the training to Church Center in the coming days. And with that, I also have one announcement for you regarding Church Center in case you missed the leader developments or the development. In the next few days, we have decided we are going to be combining our Church Center groups into one big group. So as it stands, you are either in an 8:30 or a 10:30 Redeemer Kids group on Church Center. And we are about to make it one big Redeemer Kids group. And we're doing this for a few reasons. One, to streamline communication, but to also make it easier for our volunteers to have access to one another across services. But with this change, I do know that the potential for notifications could skyrocket. And so we really don't want that for you guys. We don't want it to be a burden or a hassle. So in order to alleviate some of that, we are adding one step to the sub-finding process. So please reach out to your fellow teachers of the same grade before you actually message that larger Church Center message board. This will, one, hopefully cut down on the total number of notifications that you're receiving on the app, but two, it will also hopefully create some consistency and foster more connections with the same group of kids. So the sub process can actually be found at the bottom of Melanie's email, in this email. In case you need a refresher. And I will also be recording a video in the next couple of weeks. Before Christmas, I'll send out an email with a video on more detailed instruction on how to find a sub and how to walk through that Church Center process. I said it at the development as well, but thank you so much for your patience and your flexibility with us as we figure out just like what works best and how to utilize the features on Church Center. Another quick announcement that I just want to throw out is that we will not be having Redeemer Kids on Christmas Day, but we will be having Redeemer Kids on New Year's Day. I don't think that affects anybody serving today because that would be the 4th and the 1st Sunday, but just letting you know, just a heads up. No Christmas or no kids on Christmas. Yes, kids on New Year's. So just a heads up there. Okay, now moving on. This week we are stepping into a brand new unit, Unit 16, and every new unit, or every unit when you start it, has a new memory verse and a new big picture question. And so this week, 16.1 is titled Jeremiah Encouraged God's People, and the new memory verse is Zephaniah 3:17. And the new big picture question is, where is God? God is in all places at all times and is always with his people. All right, let's do this. So for some context from last week, we wrapped up Unit 15, really just like drilling home the big picture question of what makes people special. So last week we were talking about every person matters, and we camped out in Psalm 139 to talk about it. Before that session though, we had been walking through the Old Testament prophets. You guys had been in there last time you served. And this week we are jumping back into that storyline and back into that narrative. So today we pick up with Jeremiah, and we are in Jeremiah 29 through 30, and we're learning the story about the Israelites being sent to Babylon for their punishment for their idolatry and their sin. But Jeremiah, even though he delivers the hard news to them that the coming years will be hard, he also gives them a promise straight from God that when they seek him, they will find him. How is that possible? Our big picture question. Because God, like it says, is in all places, is in all places at all times, and is always with his people. So I love this connection to the big picture question because especially for the Israelites, it would not have seemed like God was with them. And not only were they being taken from their homes to be captives in a foreign land, but their temple was also destroyed in the process. And God's presence literally dwelt within the temple for the people. And so when God gives them this promise, it's huge that if they would turn their hearts to him and seek him, that he would be found even in captivity, even without the temple, would have been huge. So that is such a beautiful promise that has direct connection, I think, to our lives today. So how do we help our kids engage? For starters, I think you could help them think through circumstances where it may not seem like God is present, like maybe when they are very sad or very angry. But the promise is still true, that if we seek God, we can find him no matter where we are, no matter what we're feeling. And why is that true? Because of our big picture question, where is God? God is in all places at all times and is always with his people through Jesus. You can talk about that too. Great tie-in to Jesus. Also, don't forget to sing Absolutely True. There's a link right here if you need a refresher. And Jesus Loves Me. Don't forget to tie those in. I think they're great ways to like prime the pump, get kids thinking, and also just singing. Also, the Younger Kids Leader Guide has a fun game idea that I think really drives home the big picture question. And it's on page 15 and it is titled Option 2 Multiple Places Challenge. And basically in the game, how they lay it out is that you create your own twister board on the floor using just like scrap paper. You can tape it to the floor. And you have kids touch as many pieces of paper at one time as they can. And when they hit their limit, you use that to discuss the fact that we can't be very many places at once, actually, but that God is omnipresent, which means that he can be in all places at all times. So you could definitely tweak this any way you want, whether you wanted to use paper or toys or whatever. But I thought it was a great activity idea to just show that we cannot be in multiple places at once, but God can. And I think it'd be great to maybe like play a game like this during free time to fill up some of that time, but to also keep them thinking on the lesson. But I also want to take a minute and point out 2 specific resources that you have every single week that you maybe just don't know about. And they are the discussion questions in your leader guide and the videos that are already loaded on your TVs. So the Younger Kids Leader Guide has really great discussion questions. Actually, all of your leader guides have discussion questions and scripted responses prepared, but the Younger Kids Leader Guide can be found in Melanie's email next to the 1st through 3rd graders, if you really like these particular questions. And I don't know if we have ever explicitly stated it or not, but most of our grades use different leader guides. It's the same story, the same content, just tailored to different age groups. And so that is why I always specify which leader guide I'm using. So I'm just gonna read you these discussion questions from the Younger Kids Leader Guide, but if you're in a different age group, check out yours. It may have discussion questions you like better. I do think they are helpful though to get the kids chewing on the content other than just like reciting the facts of the story or what you went over. So you could ask these questions, I think, while they're coloring their sheets or during free time, just to keep that conversation going. But here are the questions. Younger Kids Leader Guide is, why was Jeremiah's message so encouraging to the people of Judah? When was a time you needed to remember that God was with you? And God kept his promise to his people and sent King Jesus. Why was this promise so important? The other awesome resource, like I said, is already on your TVs. And with each unit, or with each session actually, we have 1, sometimes 2 extra videos that go with the Bible lesson. One is called Questions from Kids, and it is literally where kids ask some questions and then adults answer them. They are always titled QFK. So when you're scrolling on your computer looking for videos, you're gonna look for 16.1 QFK, and that's gonna be our Questions from Kids video. And the other is titled Missions Moments. And these always talk about missions. So this one would be titled 16.1 Missions Moment, and it talks about missions in Vancouver and the idea that Vancouver is such a huge place with a lot of people, so it needs a lot of churches in order to reach all of those people. I think it connects to the big picture question in that we cannot reach everybody because we can only be in one place at a time, unlike God. But that is why the church, we need one another. So I thought it'd be cool. So check out those 2 videos for some extra content this Sunday. At the leader development, it was mentioned that these videos are a great way to like rein your students back in and get them focused again. So I think they could be an awesome way to get conversation going again, and a way to fill some of that free time with a little bit more focused energy on the point of the lesson. So maybe give them some free time and pull one of the videos up and let them watch it. Okay, almost done, but this unit also comes with a new memory verse, and you can watch the video right here to learn the motions. It is actually new enough that I don't remember the emotions. I don't remember the motions well enough to say them or to do them right now in front of you. But it is, sorry, that's my dog. It is Zephaniah 3:17, and I don't know about you guys, but the actions actually have helped me a lot to memorize a lot of these verses that we're doing. So it may feel silly doing them, but I have totally seen and benefited from just committing and being silly and just doing it. I'm such a big fan now. So please check out that video and learn those hand motions and teach the kids, because I do think it's really helpful. It helps me, so hopefully it helps you too. Okay, that's all I have for you. Sorry this was a longer video. Thank you so much for what you guys do. I appreciate it. Ben appreciates it. Melanie appreciates it. We all appreciate it. And we'll see you on Sunday.